Now, in the course of building things, you often find yourself confronted with choices. You know, you have to decide, am I going to do it this way or am I going to do it that way? And there's a lot of places in here where you have choices. I'm going to do a video called Decisions, Decisions, Decisions to kind of help you get through that. This is one of the biggest decisions you have to make, and it has to do with whether you're going to build what I call a version B stand. You see that hole right there, or a version C stand, which is much bigger hole. And I'll show you why it works out that way here in a second. But this stand, I don't know, I guess for many years, that's been around probably since 2008 or 2009. This was a huge revelation, by the way, in chuck boxes. And in fact, if you get on the internet and start looking around, you're going to find a lot of people build chuck boxes where the stand slides off the box. It took me 15 years to figure that out. And as soon as I put it out there on the internet, guess what? A lot of people do it now. So anyway, the version B is still used with a Grubby 2. If you get a Grubby 2 kit, it's going to have a version B stand. And the main reason is because of the width of a Grubby 2 box isn't big enough to allow it to store a stove on top of it. So I just stuck with the original version of them. It works great. There's really, you know, it's light. In fact, it's lighter than a version C. Not as strong, but it's lighter. Light is always a good thing in chuck boxes. So let me show you the particulars of a version C. So the version C stand will work with either a standard Grubby one or a Mini-Grub. Now I'm going to demonstrate it on a Mini-Grub because I don't know, I happen to have one right here in front of me. The stand slides over the box, and then you have your dowels go through here and here to lock it in place. Now, by the way, you only really need one dowel in there. I mean, you can put them both in if you want. But if you're having trouble getting one of them in, it doesn't matter. You only need one. Now, what that really does, though, is it locks the two products together. That's the important thing, so that you know you don't have to worry about it sliding out as you carry it. But you'll notice we got a little room in here, so. So that gives us the ability to put a stove between the stand and the box. And you know, you got the same principle. The other thing is that this room here is actually enough, believe it or not. You could even get a couple of those in there if you wanted to, but the point is that this space right here, especially with a Mini-Grub, works out really wonderful for your stove. I'm not really big on storing a stove with a box. Well, I didn't used to be, because stoves get grimy and grody and dirty, so you don't really want to put it inside your box. But I had so many customers over the years that just insisted on it, in fact demanded it, that I ended up coming up with a couple ways to do that. This being one of them. You can also store a stove in a worktop box too. But and it's kind of cool, but it does add weight. It adds weight to the box, and weight's always bad in my thought process. I suppose not everybody sees it that way, but you know, it's up to you to figure those kind of things out. What I want to point out about this stand, with this guy here, I think think this is probably one of the first stands I ever made. It's actually my stand that I use when I use a Grubby one or a Mini-Grub. It was kind of a prototype more than anything else, but it's worked out pretty good. You'll notice this member right here adds a lot of strength to it. One thing I want to point out to you kit builders, is that kit builders, I do give you screws so you can screw this thing on, but really it's better to put it on with 1¼ brad nails like I show you in the next video. You take a look at the video on how to assemble this box. I think putting it together with 1¼ brads is better than screwing it together. It's just easier. It's the glue that's going to hold it together anyway. So when you use the version C stand with a Grubby 1, you do have a bit of a problem. I'll show you what it is. Everything's together, you're all ready to put it together. So you go, whoop, what's wrong? What's wrong is the door. So you have to, what you do is you make these doors so that they're effectively 3 inches shorter. They don't go, this drawer is 23 7/8. You really want 20 7/8, even 20 3/4 is okay. So that you have enough room for that hole. So if you're going to build yourself a Grubby one using this type of a door structure, you either have to do that, or your other possibility, you could drill a hole in the door, and I've done that before, and you know, it works. It's just that the door can go either way. It can go upside down, which means technically you'd have to also put one down here in case somebody puts it in the other way. You see what I mean? So to me, the easy way to do it was just to trim the door up a little bit. You don't lose much doing that. You do lose a little bit of this width when you set it out, like 1.5 inches on each side, but it's still pretty functional just the way it is. So to me, it's kind of a no-brainer. That's the way I do it. Anyway, there's your. That's one of those decisions you plans builders are going to have to make, whether you go with one of these guys or whether you go with the version B one. You know, it's really your call. Just kind of weigh the pros and cons in your world. This is a bigger opening and therefore tends to expose the end of the box somewhat more, so you tend to get more stuff in there, if you will, if it's stored in your garage or wherever. Most people put something over it, if not a dedicated cover of some kind. And by the way, barbecue covers work real good for these. But you know, if not that, then you know, just a blanket or something like that to keep all the dust and stuff out of them. But the version B really is, you know, it has a much smaller handhold, so you're not going to have that big of a problem with it. This one here, as you can see though, let me do this. The thing about it is, as you put it together, you can actually get your hand in here. Fits all the way through, and then when you need to take it out, you just reach in here and grab it and pull it out. I like it. Hope you like it too.